Hello to all those viewing my video. I'm trying something different. I've not done any with commentary on before. I've generally just put musical background, but I thought I'll try this. I don't really like doing commentary because I don't like the sound of my voice recorded, but I'll try it anyway. It might irritate people as much as it irritates me listening back to it, so I'll try it for this one video and see if I get any feedback on it. I'm not new to content creating, but I've sort of tidied up a bit what I was doing previously. I used to have a couple of Facebook sites that I put the content on originally. I started filming events probably about 20 years ago, not long after I took my motorbike test. I started going to custom bike shows, and then I've been to like scooter shows, classic car shows, and it's generally been slideshows I've done. And I tended to upload those straight onto Facebook. I had a site called, I think it was called Outdoor Events in Derbyshire or something like that. And then in 2018, not long after I got my first scooter, because I didn't go onto two wheels really until I retired 9 years ago. Although I did take my test in 2004, but I never had a bike or scooter back then because I needed a four-wheel vehicle as part of my working life. So if I pass anywhere of interest, I'll probably change the conversation altogether. I think we've just passed or just approaching Blackbrook House, which that reminds me of going on a course through. I think it's just past it now on the clip. I remember going on a training course there from work about 30 years ago. Back then, there seemed to be plenty of money in the training budget for the county council, and we tended to get good food at each of these training courses. But as Blackbrook House didn't have a canteen or anything, we got took into a pub in Belper about every day and could eat what we wanted, which was probably the best part of the training course, to be honest. So going back to what I was talking about with the clips, a lot went onto Facebook, the outdoor events one, and then the riding one. I had a group called Peaks and Dales Scenic Riding Routes, and I tended to have a lot more followers on that group than I have on subscribers on YouTube. I don't know if it's just easier to latch on to sites on Facebook and just to channels on YouTube. But even though I've been doing filming myself for probably about 20 years, my content on one of my sites goes back a lot longer of personal content, 1964 to be precise, because when I was a child my dad had a cine camera, and so we've got like cine films from childhood, and a couple of years ago I had quite a few of those digitalised, so we've got some of it's family holidays really, that's not a lot of interest, and there's some events like Royal Visit to Matlock and Flying Scotsman visiting Barrow at Chesterfield, and it's probably of general interest. But as with all my YouTube, most of it's for personal recollection rather than for whether anybody views it or not. That's entirely up to them. I'm never going to do a monetarised channel. It's never going to be that popular. Although saying that, some of my older events clips probably got a couple of thousand views, but because I took them off YouTube and reloaded them all to one specific channel, one called Scooters, Bikes and Classic Cars East Midlands. I'll put a link onto that. and then I set up this one just for the rides, where I had the camera attached to the front of the bike. So that started in I think it was 2018. I'd got a little Chinese scooter then, a Lexmoto Milano, and I had a camera attached to the front. It's really a handheld camera called a Flip Minor, I think it is. I got that attached to the front, and because it was on the front rack, it didn't seem to get shook about like it did on the handlebars of a camera, and it made quite acceptable footage. But then when I swapped that for the ADV 350 in 2022, and I got a mirror mount on it, and my first results of that was absolutely awful footage. So I ended up buying just a fairly cheap proper adventure bike camera, or adventuring camera, that's supposed to have correction of shaking, which it wasn't brilliant. I've had some watch it say it made them feel seasick watching it. So in the end, I've tried different things. I tried a helmet mount, which wasn't bad, but more recently I've settled for the chest mount of it, and that seems to work reasonably if I line it up right. There's been occasions when I've had it a bit too far down on the petrol tank and a bit high up, so it's mostly sky. Just looking at this video on playback as I'm recording this, because I'm not one of these professionals that does the commentary as I go round. I'm just doing the commentary, looking at the video, playing back as I talk, and I seem to have got it lined up just right on this one, so I'm quite happy with the result of that one. But lockdown in 2020 was the time I was pretty much bored of trying to find something to do when we couldn't go outside, apart from we'd still got one of the dogs then, and he did get walked probably quite more than he did any other time, just to get out of the house basically. So that was the time when I sort of did quite a bit of editing of old clips. So the old events ones that got a lot of views, they started getting with the count when I've put them on the new channel, so it looks like they've not been watched very much at all. There's a few since on there. It's got about 1,500 views, because if they like big scooter rallies, I can post the link to the YouTube on all the Facebook groups for all particular scooter clubs, and it gets quite a lot of viewing from that. Not that I'm counting or anything, it's just looks nice when I've got quite a few hundred views, because I'm typically getting probably about 1,500 on these ones, which it's fine. It gives me something to do whether people watch it or not. So during lockdown, I separated everything onto the three different channels. One for the rides, one for events, and then this historic one for the cine films. So in terms of my riding, I had a moped back in the probably 1972, I think I got it, and I never got any photos of it, but I've got a bit of cine film of that, so I've posted that as a clip on here. And then passed my driving test in 1974, and about the same time as moped failed its MOT, so I got rid of the moped, traded it in at the garage where it had done its MOT, and was quite happy for a few years just to drive a car. I'm not like one of these people that's started young at biking and continued. So since retirement in 2017, I've sort of made up for it by getting out on the bike whenever I can. I'd also like to mention a few of the motorbike channels that I like watching. Quite a few of them's local. Most of them ride smaller, slow bikes. I think Royal Enfield Classic's probably the most popular amongst the ones that I watch. And strangely enough, it's more the local ones that I find interesting. It's a bit like when you go on to Google Street View and where you can look at anywhere in the world, and first thing you do is look at your own street. So I'll list a few of those, and then I'll post the link to them on the description of this ride on the channel. So first then, one called That Bloke on a Motorbike. Dave, I think his name is based in Yorkshire, and he often rides into Derbyshire and Staffordshire, and his interests, as most of these are similar roads to mine. It's mostly back lanes that I like riding around. I'm not one of these for speeding round, and that sort of thing doesn't interest me really. I think I went to a motorbike racing day once at Cadwell Park, which was quite good. It's club racing, so it wasn't like overly competitive like the MotoGP and things like that. And it was an interesting day out, but I've never had interest in doing a track day or anything like that. Getting too old for that sort of thing. I don't feel as indestructible as I would do if I were young, I suppose. So that bloke on a motorbike, he rides Enfield Classic, and he does good chattering as goes along. And another one who rides in Enfield is Martin Trafford, the moorland biker. He's based just across the border in Staffordshire. He's got I think he's got an Enfield Himalayan and a Triumph with a sidecar on, and I've actually met him as one or two of the others at it's like a monthly classic bike meet at Duke William pub at just on the outskirts of Matlock, and gets a massive turnout. It's lunchtime meet, and virtually everybody there's a pensioner, but that's the sort of thing old blokes like us do now. We ride bikes, and the young guns go to bingo. And another one, there's one from Chesterfield. There's a couple on here I mentioned from Chesterfield, which is my area. Froglodytes Travels. He's got a couple of different bikes. One's a Suzuki V-Strom, and I forget what make the other one is. And with him setting off from Chesterfield on his rides, he often covers the same roads as I do, and he does interesting talks as he's going round about the history of places, which I find quite fascinating. Sometimes I learn things about areas that I didn't know already. Next one I mention is Ian Hughes. He's based up somewhere on the outskirts of the Lake District. I don't know exactly where, but he's got connections in Staffordshire, so he's often over this way riding round sort of the Derbyshire Staffordshire borders, and he's got a Royal Enfield Gorilla, and he did have a Enfield Classic as well, but he's just sold that and waiting to see what he's got in its place. And his rides are always interesting to listen to the commentary. And another one that I've only found recently on recommendation of people I've spoke to is Twisted Spire Rider. He's another chap from my hometown of Chesterfield, and similar to what I do, is interested in going on long rides and finding cafes to visit, because that's what I do when I'm on group rides. We have the Wednesday Breakfast Club where we go to a different cafe each week for a ride somewhere usually, and then in about an hour and a half, and see different roads, eat in different cafes. And there's a few others that I'm interested in that they're not local, but I'm just impressed by the massive endurance on, like, going the whole way around Britain on 125 monkey bikes or other 125s. There's Monkey Dick's Adventures. He's just gone about 4,300 miles around the coastline of mainland Britain on I think he went on the CT Cup, not the monkey bike, if I remember rightly. But that's quite a very impressive feat, and basically he was looking for accommodation wherever he could in gardens of people who subscribe to the channel. Similar helmet head, he did have a monkey bike, but he rides various things now. He's from I think it's Northamptonshire, and I met up and had a ride with him when he visited Derbyshire on one of his rides. And another channel, Rob Little UK. I first found his channel when he was going all round, or most of the way around Britain on a little old, I think it was 100cc Yamaha. He's in his 70s, and the bike was probably 30-40 years old, and that was quite an endurance feat. And his channel, a lot of his group rides with the Wiltshire Whizzers. I'm going on for 70, but the Wiltshire Whizzers are probably aged between that and about 90, and the virtually all of them ride little old bikes from 50cc mopeds and various other old 125s. There's the odd one that rides bigger bikes. So the old channels that I started watching, well, a lot of them I started watching during lockdown, and then there's other channels that sort of come and gone in that time. So I lose interest a bit in the ones that spend a lot of time reviewing products. I'd rather just watch the ones of people that are going around just doing normal rides and discovering the lanes where they ride, which is sort of similar to what I ride. I'm stuck behind a lorry here on this bit of the clip. Hopefully get past in a few seconds. So my destination here is Brassington. It's a nice little village. I've only ever been through it. I'm just passing the entrance to Carsington Reservoir, which is quite a nice place to visit, although they've started charging for parking, even for motorbikes, which I don't believe anybody should be paying to park motorbikes. It's not right. We hardly take any room up, and we don't take much room up on the road either, so we tend to avoid places where we've got to pay to park a motorbike. So I'm heading to Brassington. I've only ever been through it, and I was inspired to call there. I think it was one of the scooter clubs that I saw a video of them doing a ride up there, Merlin's, that's based at Worksop. Just thought it looked good, so I'm gonna call there for a bacon cob, because just interested in looking what other parts of the village are that's not sort of the main road through. What I forgot to do though is take a picture of Carsington Reservoir looking back, because from right up the hill you can see pretty much a large amount of the lake, but I didn't get a photo of it then, so I'll just go and I'm just heading up there for bacon cob. Yes, it is a cob in Derbyshire, not a barm, as they say in Lancashire, or a bread cake, as they say in Yorkshire, and various other names that they call them different parts of the country. So that is my destination on here. just about to turn into the village now on my video clip, and it's a pub called the Miner's Arms that I'm calling it. But as like I said, I'm commenting after the event rather than talking as I'm going round, and I went into the pub. It was like a ghost town or a ghost place, totally deserted about 5 minutes before anybody appeared, and I think he'd gone in the back to make some bacon cobs for a couple of customers that were outside. So they'd actually finished serving meals when I called, but he was making this bacon for these two ladies that were outside. So I asked them if he could make me one too. So a nice little snack. Then the route home after leaving the pub, I wasn't actually filming that, but that were more single track back lanes than what I've been on when I've been filming. So it might be one to go another day with the camera and film that back route, and then I headed back home via Matlock Bath, as you do, traditional visit to Matlock Bath on the way home from ride out. So I don't tend to normally go there at weekends, and I called in today and they're absolutely packed, so I just had a few minutes there and then went on from there. So if you hear this commentary, it means I've decided to add it to the video, and if you don't hear this commentary, it means I didn't like it, so I've not added it to the video. So you won't hear this message anyway. So I'm just pulling into the village on here now, and then it's up one of the hills and park up the pub. As with all my videos, or most of the videos, I do put the route on that I've travelled. I use an app called Relive, and it automatically traces where you are. It's a bit of a spy in that, but it's my choice to do it, and it follows where I've been and puts it on a moving map of the route that you've done. So I just think it's useful if anybody is watching and wants to follow the same route. It's sort of easier than trying to describe the route. So after this bit of clip, there'll be the Relive map, and then right at the end there's just a picture of the pub that I call that. I mean, it looks such a nice traditional village with all the stone-built properties. It's sort of typical Derbyshire village that I like. So it's just off up here to the left, a pub that I wasn't really particularly aware of until somebody mentioned it the other week, and here we are. So I'll shut up now and finish editing the video. Thanks for listening. If you've listened, cheers.